So right now we are in the Lamma Island wind turbine built by the Hong Kong Electric. Can you see over here? This is the only wind turbine in Hong Kong, the wind farm in Hong Kong. So this is one of the renewable energy that we could think of apart from solar energy, tidal energy, and nuclear energy. So over here we have the wind energy being harvested because of the turbine. When wind passes through, it just acts as a generator to generate electricity because of the movement. Okay, so well, this is the turbine, and what happened just now is that the wind turbine stopped, but it's actually very windy. Can you see the stuff over here? It turned 90 degrees and the wind turbine stopped. I think it's because it really went too fast, and that's why. So the wind turbine stopped it because it went too fast. And over here, I'm underneath the turbine, and there's a notice over here saying that when the wind speed exceeded 25 meters per second, and based on the aerodynamics, it will stop. So it is because of the pivoting blade tips over here. Can you see? So it just flipped towards this direction and then it stopped, acting as a brake. Wow, let's witness. So right now the pivoting blade has went back to the normal position, so it stopped turning. So it's no longer acting as a brake, so it will start spinning and generate electricity. So because of that, how about that I just explain what happened over here. Is that as we have discussed about the use of fossil fuels, so you see it start moving, right? And I can feel the wind right now. So we talk about the use of fossil fuels, and we know that fossils is not a renewable energy. But having this wind turbine is actually very renewable. But why don't we build a lot? That's the question for us to ponder. So we just got one turbine all over Hong Kong. This is the only turbine in Hong Kong. So we need to ask why there's just one. And it's onshore, it's not offshore, it's not on the ocean. And it's built on the land. Of course, we are at some height. It's not just on the outer having only 0 meter. It's having a height over here. And we can see the turbine start moving. And as long as it moves by the wind, and we generate electricity. So the benefit of using this kind of energy, it is renewable, because think about that. The wind, no matter you collect it or not, it just comes, and it can be converted to electricity, and it could be used without emitting any carbon dioxide based on the burning of fossils. So that is the benefit. So you can see it start turning, okay, becomes faster and faster. So, but there's actually some disadvantage of using this kind of renewable energy. Is I think about when it moves too fast, and those migrating birds, when they go through, what happened? What happened? Tell me. They die, of course, because when it is spinning very fast and the migrating birds cannot detect. They don't know someone has built a wind turbine over here, so the birds just gone through and then being killed by the turbine. And the second thing, I've just asked you the question, why we just got one in Hong Kong? Think about. So there are two major reasons I could think of. Because of the land. Think about land is the resources. Do you think the land over here in Hong Kong, we would rather use it to build buildings or to build a wind turbine? Now it's moving very fast right now. And number two, the construction cost. Do you think it is cheaper to just dig out the fossil fuels, to burn it, to combust? Okay, that we have learned in fossil fuels and carbon compounds. We just extract those carbons, and then we are able to use them to combustion and to harvest the energy. But building this one is very expensive, okay? And that's why you see in Hong Kong we just got one. So the wind farm, standalone wind turbine over here, can you see it's moving? the blade come back to the normal position. No more break. And I've asked you the question why it is onshore but not offshore. Because we can build a lot of these kind of wind turbines on the sea, on the ocean, okay? And there's much more windy compared to onshore position, right? Because the buildings can block the wind. But over here, think why? Again, it's something related to money. To build it offshore, then you think about how can it be planted towards the ocean and it could stand. So which one is easier? And the maintenance to maintain the wind turbine on the ocean or on the land is much more easier. Which one? Of course, onshore. And that's why we just got one over here. And you can see. Yay! Actually, I could think of a few more disadvantages of using this kind of energy. Renewable energy. It is a good thing actually, apart from killing the birds, apart from being very, very expensive, and that's why we still stick on to the combustion of fossil fuels. The other thing is that, isn't it just stopped it, okay, because the wind goes too fast, or maybe there's no wind, okay, because it got a wind speed limit at 25 meters per second. So if it exceeds, it stops, okay. The aerodynamics brake over here is stopped, and there's no wind, it also stopped. Then how can we harvest the energy when it is so unpredictable and it is unstable? So burning fossil fuels got the advantage of being very, very stable. You just gotta feel, and then you combust, and then you get it, okay? But overall, if we invest on these, it could be very, very long lasting. Like, you just need to maintain it, okay? And it is renewable. It is inexhaustible in another sense, okay? That's how you can use it for good, forever and ever, right? So, well, I think that's pretty much it. So, see you in the next video. Bye-bye.